Hello and welcome to my garage. Today I'll be taking a look at the BG Racing digital camber gauge. To start off with, let's see what's in the box. The two main parts to the set are laid out here. You have the aluminium frame part and the digital gauge part. The digital gauge comes with its own built-in rechargeable battery. It also has a USB port on the side to plug the charging lead into. The digital gauge part can be used in its own right if you wanted. It even has a magnetic base so that you can stick it to metal items in order to take a reading. Ideally for things like camber or accurate measurements, it's much better to use it with the frame. To start off with, we put the two metal prongs onto the frame part. So you have a metal block behind that sits in there, and then you screw through the little slot to get the prongs to sit in place. Now with the prongs in place, we can now fit the digital gauge part. The gauge should sit with the USB port and a small reset pin facing towards the long edge of the frame part. So we pop it there, and you'll see on the back you've got two holes for the Allen screws, and so we'll just fit those straight in. With the digital gauge now fitted to the aluminium frame, the first thing we need to do is run the calibration process. So to do this, we press the set button, and then we scroll up using a 0 button, and then we press set to choose calibration, and you'll see it will say press set. It also says we're in the wrong position, so I'm going to move the camera now and show you how to set it up. The first reading we take is with the gauge and frame flat on the surface. So we lay it down here and we press set, and you'll hear it beeping. It's worth trying to use the same surface each time to do the calibration to ensure that your data is repeated. You'll hear the beeping is finished, so now we can turn it round to 180 degrees and we press set again. Now you won't need to run the calibration process every time you use the scale, but it's worth doing when you fit the gauge for the first time. So that was the flat one done. Now we take it up and then we stand it upright. Again we press set, and you'll hear it beeping. It's worth trying to keep the frame obviously as still as you can at this point. Then we rotate it through 180 degrees, which is backwards for this one. So we press set again. And the final measurement is taken with the gauge and frame flat on the surface like this. So again we press set, hold it as still as we can, wait for the beeps. And then the final measurement, again we rotate it that way and we hold it as steady as we can, and then press set. And that should be our calibration done. So on the menu we use the 0 button to go back down, and then set to go back, and that's it. That's our gauge is now reading. And so if we look across here, we know this was our level surface we used. That's showing 89.88 degrees, so pretty close to 90. It should be fine for what we need to do. And just to double check, we'll flip it round the other way. And on this side, it's saying 89.96, so the same measurement. Before we take any measurements, it is important to check that the vehicle is on a totally level surface. In this case, I know the garage floor slopes back slightly, so I've used a single tile to raise the rear wheels to make sure that they're totally in line with the front. It's very important for your data to make sure that you use a level surface each time. Also, to ensure accurate results, you should try and inflate the tyres to the same level as they would be during a race or when they're being used on the road. In my case, that's around 30 psi, so I've inflated all 4 tyres to the same, and I have checked them with a stagger gauge to make sure that they are all pretty similar to each other. Taking the measurements really is very easy. The gauge and frame have now been calibrated, and we've set the 2 pins to correspond with the wheel size. So all we do is put the pins against the edge of the wheel and we take a measurement. So I'm seeing here 1.56 degrees of negative camber. When taking the measurement, one should try and get the frame dead in line with the middle of the wheel, and also make sure that the steering is straight. Once you've taken the reading for the front wheel, you can then go round and do all 4. It is very important when using a gauge to make sure it stays in this plane. If you turn it upside down to take a measurement, it won't be calibrated in that way and it will be inaccurate. Hopefully this has given you a brief outline of how to set up and use the digital camber gauge. Please like and subscribe to my channel to see more similar videos and also some of this car racing. Many thanks. Bye.